Hey y'all. So today's video is my tips for first year students in response to one of the questions I got and that I get often. So I have 5, I think, main tips. And if y'all ever want like specific things like how do you write papers or how do you study or how do you do things like that, like I'm happy to do more detailed videos, but these are just kind of like my 5 overall things that I feel like me 4 of them I did really well and have been seeing the benefits of them, but believe that all 5 are important. So the first one, and I think is the most important, is believing that you can do it. This is by far the hardest thing that I have ever done. And it's already going to be hard, but I think it gets even harder when you are questioning yourself. I think the first year, especially when you're talking to second and third year doc students, you feel like they know so much and you know absolutely nothing. And I feel like it forces you to question whether or not you belong in the program or in any program for that matter. And I feel like that can definitely be a stumbling block in the beginning, but understand that even as third years, we feel like we know nothing. So it's probably not too reassuring to know that you're always going to feel like that, but please know that you do know a lot more than you think you do. You were chosen, and I want you to think about that, right? You were chosen for this program. So they believed that you could do it, and I really want you to believe that you can do it. And I feel like that definitely is one of the hardest things to do, but definitely one of the most important things to do. To know that you're a boss and you're dope as hell, and you're here for a reason. The second tip is definitely to prioritize yourself. I'm really big on scheduling and scheduling my assignments and kind of what I'm going to do when, and if y'all need help in terms of time management, like what it physically looks like, I'm happy to do a video on that. But making sure that you're scheduling in self-care and me time and things like that. And it's going to sound weird, but I think it's important to do those things first. So whether it's hanging out with your friends or taking a bubble bath or reading a book, doing yoga, things like that, I think those things are important to do first, because I feel like when it comes to schoolwork and assignments and things like that, like we'll stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning to finish a paper. Or me, I'm the opposite. I'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to finish a paper, but I'm not going to stay up late to take care of myself. So I definitely feel like it's important to prioritize the things for yourself and your well-being and do those things first, because we will always make time for the professional and the academic, but we don't always make time for the personal. So definitely that's something that I think you should literally write down in your calendar, whether it's giving yourself an hour a day or 15 minutes a day, whatever it is, to prioritize you. The third thing, get yourself a mentor. And it might not be within your own program. It might not be within your college. You might have to branch out to other departments or other colleges within your university. Or in my case, I had to find someone across the country. And finding him was not easy. I think my first semester, when I realized, as much support as I do have at my university, I have some dope professors that believe in me and support me, but just don't do my work. So I reached out to a lot of professors kind of in the nearby states and things like that, that were doing work that I was interested in, like really trying to connect and meet with them, like being willing to drive 6 to 8 hours if I had to be able to kind of connect with them in person, but just getting a lot of either no responses or yeah, we'll meet, and then just no follow through. And I get it, like it's super busy for faculty members, so they're already overwhelmed trying to take care of their own students, so let alone trying to support a student that they don't even know at another university. I definitely understand, but I was frustrated and really discouraged. And I remember sitting in the cafeteria with my 2 closest friends at the university in the programs, and just wanting to cry, because I just felt so alone and so lost. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to make it? How do I know if what I'm doing or wanting to do is the right thing? So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go big. And I was like, whose work am I citing the most? Like, who am I looking at and reading the most? So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot and see what happens. And I sent him an email and telling him what I was interested in, that I was interested in his work. He's actually in Utah. And he responded within an hour. And not only did he respond, but he was like, yeah, I'm actually going to be in DC this weekend. Let's meet up. And this was 2.5 years ago. And now I cannot live without his guidance and his support. I wouldn't be where I am right now without him. But I had to fight, and I had to be diligent and have a thick skin and persevere through all of the no's that I got. And now I have the dopest possible mentor, and he looks out for me and supports me. So that's not to say that, of course, the person you cite the most is going to be the person that responds, or that they're going to be willing, that they're going to so happen to be in your city that weekend and, want to meet you. But don't give up, and try to find someone that is willing to help you out, because I feel like it's super important. I definitely believe hands down that he has changed the trajectory of my career because of the support and advice he's given me. So I definitely feel like it's crucial for you to find someone that's going to be able to do that for you, and accept that it might not be at your university, and that's okay. The fourth thing is be strategic about every single thing you do. I have done that since day one, assignment one, just really knowing that I'm trying to get out of here, and I'm not trying to be on that 6-7 year plan. So one main thing that I did, and I think it was advice I got probably during orientation, just to kind of tailor all of your assignments whenever possible to your topic for your dissertation. And I know you're not going to know exactly what you want to do for your dissertation, but you'll kind of know in general, right, kind of what you're interested in. So for me, when I came into the program, I knew that I was interested in the experiences of students of color at predominantly white institutions, and kind of how those experiences impacted their mental health. But beyond that, I didn't really know. So every time we got a paper or an assignment, and I could choose something related to that, I did. Because I really was just like, I'm not trying to read a bunch of articles that aren't going to help me in the future. So I was very intentional. And of course, there are going to be some assignments that don't relate and you can't. But whenever possible, I did. I was like, people are going to get tired of hearing this topic in every single class. But now I'm in such a good space because I have binders and binders of articles that I'm able to just pull into my dissertation proposal, pieces of papers, pieces of papers that I've written that I'm able to kind of pull into my dissertation proposal. And I feel like that also helped me to narrow down specifically what I wanted to do for my dissertation. Because I feel like sometimes we feel like we have to do our assignments and then also find time to kind of explore, but finding ways to unite those two things I think are really important. And then being strategic about other things, right? So when it came time to, whether it was a conference or an opportunity or something like that, just asking myself, like, is this something I can put on my CV? And is it going to help me academically and or professionally? And being okay with saying no to things that aren't going to do that. Like, there might be really interesting conference that you want to go to, but those things add up. So only going to the ones, that are going to really help you, whether it's connect or find a mentor or do things like that, then absolutely go. But if you have the funds and you want to go to all of them, by all means, do you. I didn't. I still don't. So really being strategic about everything you do, and kind of finding the right mentor will help you in terms of knowing what to do and kind of how to move. So definitely moving as strategically as possible has been crucial to me. I think being as far ahead of the game when it comes to my proposal, because I've been working on it indirectly since my first semester. And then my last one is, how do I say this? I feel like writing a letter to yourself, especially in the beginning, in terms of why it is you want to do this, right? Why did you go into this? Because you're going to question your decision on a regular basis, and having that to go back to remind yourself why you're doing this, why you're putting up with the stress and the headache and the aggravation and all of those things. So either writing a letter to yourself in the beginning, explaining that to yourself, or even rereading your personal statement for your program. I did that several times during my first year. I even went back to my master's degree personal statement sometimes just to remind myself kind of how far I've come, because it's going to get hard and you're going to forget why you wanted to do this, and you're going to question whether it's worth it. And going back to those letters are definitely going to help you and remind you and encourage you to not give up and keep going. I think about, the days I was studying for my GRE, sometimes 12 to 15 hours a day. I remember, I remind myself, how much I cried when I got that acceptance email. Just remembering, like, I wanted this and I fought for this and I cried for this and prayed for this, and reminding yourself of those things when it gets hard, I think, are crucial and are definitely going to help keep you going. So those are my top 5, I would say, tips or pieces of advice for first years, or any years for that matter. If you have any other questions or need anything else, just let me know. Bye, y'all.